Just hours before a very unfortunate event in a Houston, Texas mall, popular Migos rapper Takeoff and Quavo was invited to a Halloween party hosted by J Prince Jr. and Music Reps. A list of Instagram stories pieced together an entire day of events for the Migos rappers, alongside a family friend named MigoBands, who also happens to be a suspect in the passing of Takeoff. Now, 10 hours before the passing of Takeoff, his day started with Quavo and MigoBands. While chilling inside of their Atlanta mansion, awaiting their driver to arrive, the three of them would get ready for the day ahead. Once the driver arrived, the four individuals were then invited to a Halloween party hosted by J Prince Jr. Before arriving, Quavo and Takeoff made rounds around their area, meeting up with friends and family for the Halloween holiday. Few hours then passed, and an Instagram story showed Quavo, Takeoff, MigoBands, and their driver driving to the J Prince party in Houston, Texas. The Halloween party starts with Quavo and Takeoff performing a few songs at the beginning of the event, before attending an after-party room to relax in. In this party room was many people playing games of dice in exchange for cash, as well as many people discussing business and meeting up with new people in the area. Now, in this after-party room is where we meet three suspects of the passing of Takeoff. Number one suspect has just been arrested for the passing of Takeoff, as DJ Akademiks tweeted, and I quote, "Police arrest man for the passing of Takeoff. His name is Patrick Clark." Sources say in Texas he's commonly known as DJ Pat, with a mugshot included in the tweet. DJ Akademiks also then tweeted, "According to court documents, Patrick Clark, aka DJ Clark, applied for an emergency passport days after the passing of Takeoff and booked a flight for Mexico. When police arrested him, he had large amounts of cash on him. Prosecutors claim that he's a flight risk for bond." This then led into the number two suspect, known as Cameron Joshua, as it was just reported by Rap TV, and I quote, "Just in, Takeoff's passing suspect Cameron Joshua, otherwise known as Lil Cam the Fifth, has just been arrested on firearm charges." With the official arrest paperwork added to the tweet, the arrest of Cam actually confirms a lot of what eyewitnesses claimed happened. On Halloween night, Cameron Joshua was wearing a yellow hoodie. Leading into the third and final suspect of the passing of Takeoff is MigoBands. MigoBands spent the entire day with Quavo and Takeoff, and he's also a family friend. MigoBands was wearing a snapback hat, single diamond chain, Gucci bag, and a t-shirt on this night. During this after-party room where Quavo was playing dice, he notices something. It was this moment here on screen where Quavo notices none other than Cameron Johnson being invited to the party. In a video screenshot that was taken, Quavo is giving the second suspect a very dirty look while in the after-party room, as Cameron is seen sitting there standing with a yellow sweater on. It almost seemed as if Quavo knew that Cam was up to no good on this night. Now, after that was complete and the party was over, it seemed as if there wasn't enough people done playing dice. So the games were then be held inside of a shopping center in Houston. This is where Quavo, Takeoff, and MigoBands were then seen walking through a shopping center in Houston, Texas, alongside a lump sum of approximately 30 to 40 people. Now, inside of this shopping center is a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling Houston. There was up to 50 people at this location, standing around in a circle with 4 to 6 people taking turns playing dice. Reports state that Quavo was one of the men playing, but that is false, as Quavo was only playing dice during the after party. At this current moment, Quavo was just watching. Meanwhile, Takeoff was around 6 to 8 feet behind Quavo. While watching people play dice, a man then approaches Quavo. This mystery man, who still remains nameless, begins to mock Quavo for the way that he was playing during a celebrity basketball game just a few weeks prior. Now, Quavo is seen arguing back and forth with this individual, where Quavo is seen on film saying, "Man, I don't care about no basketball game." And with tension starting to rise in that specific area, this is where Cameron in the yellow sweater is then seen walking up to Quavo. Making his way through the pile of people, he finally approaches Quavo and stands there. With Cameron standing there, kind of minding his own business but keeping an eye on Quavo, the yelling begins to start escalating even louder. This causes MigoBands to be seen walking through the group of 40 people, making his way through, trying to get to Quavo to figure out what is going on. Now you can tell this is MigoBands from the shirt he's wearing, Gucci bag, single diamond chain, and the snapback hat that he was wearing earlier in the night. With MigoBands making his way through the pile of people, he then also stands beside Quavo, which then leads into the new first suspect being Patrick Clark, where sources claim that he was also standing around 3 feet away from Quavo as well. So imagine all 3 suspects practically standing in a triangle around Quavo. With the 3 suspects standing in a triangle, this is where the man he was arguing with then swings towards Quavo while Quavo is walking away. And with the man swinging towards Quavo, everyone in the group starts screaming and getting loud. This causes then Takeoff, that was standing around 6 feet away, to start walking forward to get back up for Quavo. And with Quavo walking away and Takeoff practically taking his spot inside of the middle of the triangle, one of the 3 alleged suspects ends up pulling their firearm out. With him pulling his out, this causes the other 2 to do the exact same. Eyewitnesses claim that it was MigoBands who used his firearm first, but there is still no confirmation on that. Somebody used their firearm first, which caused the other 2 to use theirs, and with 3 people using firearms, allegedly firearms were used 12 times, and Takeoff was then sadly affected by 2 strays. It was also reported recently Takeoff was not the only one affected either, as a female was as well, and allegedly someone else the Migos was close with. Now with the firearms going off in this location, the massive lump sum of people that were standing there are all seen sprinting away out of the mall, going out of the exit doors and even hopping over benches. Meanwhile, Quavo noticed that Takeoff was affected and he stood there beside him the entire time, which is something you definitely need to respect Quavo for, especially if you are one of them that believe that this was Quavo's fault. Quavo didn't even flinch or even attempt at running away, even with the firearms being used right beside him. Now here's even what DJ Akademiks had to say about Quavo being involved.
Quavo says, you know what? I'm gonna walk off. He's like, yo, let's go. But I'm gonna also be honest, he says something that I think could have incited the whole thing. Not that necessarily is his fault. He says, man, let me get on it. Let me get up on out of here before I hurt somebody. And when you think about all these situations, like Quavo says that, I think that sets in motion, granted, the argument sets everything in motion, but him walking away and saying that, I think someone acted on behalf of whoever he was arguing with. The guy with the either seen someone else brandish, he pulled out his, Quavo's already out the mix, so he's back there, the melee's here, Takeoff is still in the middle.
A female named Elizabeth that was at the scene, she was actually standing beside Takeoff allegedly around 3 minutes before this went down. Now she tweeted what she saw at the scene, as she states, "I'm gonna speak on this because I feel like I have to. I was right there, next to Takeoff. They wasn't arguing about a dice game. Quavo was pressed and Takeoff was hit by strays as firearms were used for no reason. Rest in peace Takeoff, he didn't deserve that. He was to himself the whole night." This tweet had text messages attached to it by people who are assuming was another eyewitness at the scene, giving his perspective of what he saw. The text messages read, "Firearms just started ringing, but they came from somebody the Migos was with. He was using his firearm wild, and he hit Takeoff on accident. Then the other people started using their firearms back, and I think he got hit again. But ultimately, his own guys did it to him, because when he got hit the first time, I saw him." Now from that eyewitness's perspective, he or she claims that Takeoff was first affected by somebody the Migos was with. Now it is safe to assume, but it is also alleged that this could be MigoBands, as he was seen with a firearm earlier on in the night on Instagram, and he was also seen holding a firearm near his waistband, approaching the lump sum of people while Quavo was having an argument. As then the eyewitness claims that the other people started using their firearms back. And this could also be then Patrick Clark and Cameron Johnson, as they were now both arrested on firearm charges, and Patrick Clark more mainly arrested on Takeoff's passing. Now it is important to hear Quavo's reaction and speech at Takeoff's funeral.
"You always with me, and we did everything together. Since we was kids, you been by my side, looking up at me with them eyes. Same eyes you got as my sister. Waiting on me to make the next move, then you followed up right behind me. You always made sure I did it first so you can do it right with me. You never competed with me. We was always on the same team because you hated playing against me because I always played too hard or too rough. And I can hear mama saying, not too rough, son. Remember our first dream was to be tag team partners in the WWE. We fell in love with WWE wrestling. We had every...
Now with Takeoff passing, it was a huge event that no one wished to happen. Many rappers reacted to it, and here is Boosie giving out love for Takeoff.
R.I.P. Takeoff, bro. Shaking my head, man. Humble. That music syndicate won't show QC, all the family. We sending some prayers and love for y'all. All Takeoff family, Quavo, Offset, all y'all. That music syndicate won't, send their prayers out. This rap whack, bro. I ain't lying, bro. We targets now, bro. We used to be heroes, Everybody want us out of here, bro. R.I.P. Takeoff.
After Boosie posted his reaction, we then saw Master P post his.
And hip hop is too young. Rest in peace to Takeoff. My condolences goes out to Takeoff family, Quavo, man, all my soldiers and soldier reps. Hip hop has turned to the new streets. We used to be in the streets trying to get into hip hop, which is crazy. When you walk out your house, tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know who might not come back. And no matter how old or young you are, it's crazy. I love y'all soldiers and salute to everybody. Let's save the next generation.
Now I'm curious to know your guys' reaction to Takeoff passing. If you were a fan of Takeoff, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today.